Hey, what's up guys? It's Art Book Addiction here, and we're here with a new artist journey video. So today, we're going to be talking about the pursuit of mastery, okay? So, the artist journey and the pursuit of mastery are very much parallel with each other, okay? But there is kind of like a different mentality when it comes to pursuing mastery, right? It's a decision that you have to take, right? The artist journey is more of your artistic journey, right? And the pursuit of mastery is the pursuit of honing your craft, right, to its best possible, being, right? And again, these two things are very parallel, but there are slight nuances that I want to talk about, and maybe by informing you guys, you can help start trying to pursue mastery, right? And like I want to talk about the ideas of mastery as well, right? So that's what we talk about today. But before we start the video, please hit that like, hit that subscribe, check out my Princeton Patreon, consider becoming a channel member, and with that, let's get into it. So, mastery, okay? So what exactly is a master, okay? Someone who is considered by others and their peers as someone who has reached an extremely high level of proficiency and trueness in their work, okay, right? A recent master who passed away recently is Kim Jung-gi, right? A lot of people considered him a true master at his craft, right? And I would be inclined to agree, because he was like his stuff was extremely influential and his work was fantastic. Okay, like what can you really say except for that he was a master, right? But the title of master cannot be bestowed upon you by yourself. Okay, it has to be bestowed upon you by others, and usually your peers, right? But obviously you can't give yourself the title of master, right? That's not up for you to decide, right? And if you think yourself a master, you probably aren't, right? The idea of mastery is that it is an endless pursuit, okay? That you're chasing something, you're always reaching for something that will never come to you, right? And again, very similar to the artist journey, okay? Again, they're basically the same thing, okay? Basically the same thing, except a couple different things, right? So, last year, I became kind of obsessed with the idea of mastery, right? The pursuit of mastery, right? For thousands of years before the modern era, right? There was the master and apprentice, system, right? Where there would be someone who was extremely proficient, dedicated their entire lives to a certain craft, okay, right? And they would take on an apprentice who had potential, right? The apprentice would learn from the master and learn their methods and their ways, right? And study for years and years, right? So that hopefully one day they could also become a master, right? In the modern age, this idea, this concept has died, okay, right? And it's a shame, because there are very few masters, true masters, like that exist today, right? Because nobody cares about honing a craft to its highest possible point, of getting to true excellence, right? But the thing is that we value mastery a lot, okay, right? If you look at history, if you look at things like obviously paintings, right? We have the great masters that appeared before us, very extremely influential in their work, right? Or maybe they just were extremely skilled, right? And pursued the idea of mastery and tried to get it to the level that that they could possibly max out, and of course try to reach more, right? People and there's some people who just never, they will die, right? And their mastery will be only known maybe later, right? Like someone like Van Gogh, right? Um, and people like, Mozart, he achieved, he died young, but was still able to achieve mastery, right? Because of his talent, his dedication, his passion for the work, right? And the pursuit of mastery, I think once you start subscribing to it, right? Once you start changing your mind, shifting towards mastery, right? It changes the way you think about your work, okay? Right? It's not necessarily like that your path changes or anything, because again, this is the artist's journey in its own right. You know what I mean? But then you start becoming more concerned about the honing of the craft, the trueness of the craft, right? The idea that you will keep working on this forever, right? And you will keep honing it, rechanging it, experimenting, right? If you think of yourself as a master in practice, right? What does a master do? They do repetitious work, right? They keep refining, they keep experimenting, they change their methods. They want to learn and become so proficient that eventually that they could push their craft further. Okay, right? So maybe an example, like if you look at a katana, right? The people who made those swords, right? Like the only reason why those blades were so fine and so well crafted was because there was someone who wanted to bring it to its like highest quality possible. True craftsmanship, okay, right? And that's another thing, craftsmanship, right? That's a huge aspect of the artist's journey and mastery, right? And when it comes to mastery, right, like as you get better, as you become more refined, you become more specific. The tiny little details matter more, right? While also mattering less at the same time, right? Like the pursuit of mastery is all about the long run, the long haul, right? I feel like a lot of artists today, they're all about quick learning. How do I learn this quickly? How do I quick, right? How do I, get to the level that I want as quickly as possible, right? And then when you switch to a master's perspective, right, you understand that this is going to take a long time, right? But it's going to be worth it, right? And the thing is that art is a long process, okay? Mastery is a lifelong process. The artist's journey is also a lifelong process, right? But a lot of people are in a rush, a huge rush to get to the level that they want to be, right? And in that rush, you lose something, right? Because you're just going full throttle, and it's like you miss the chance to like basically take the time to smell the roses, you know what I mean, like to look around you, right? Look with the eye of a master, right? Like here's a great example, right? There's people like Gordon Ramsay, right, who is go, pursue, attack, right? And I respect that, you know what I mean? I was also very aggressive, attack, push forward, move as much as you can, right? And like, but the thing is like that's not really sustainable, okay? That's not really sustainable, like for a long period of time. And you can do it for a long time. And some people, they push, right? But like, I feel like that's the wrong mentality to have, right? And so there's Gordon Ramsay, right, and his teacher Marco Pierre White, right, who, if you believe it or not, was an angrier guy than Gordon, right? But at a certain point, their paths diverged, right? Marco Pierre White, I feel like he was the youngest person to achieve 3 Michelin stars, right? So that feat is like ridiculous, right? But after that, he gave up the stars and he decided to, like have like a hiatus, right? And in that time, he meditated, he thought about things, right? He started to look around him, right? Start to think about the essence of the ingredients that he was using in his food, right? Thought about the idea behind food. You know what I mean? Like, what is its purpose? What am I trying to fulfill, right? See, now that is the pursuit of mastery, okay? It's more zen, okay? It's more like you are, you flow with the flow of the universe instead of trying to push against it. You move with the tide, right? As opposed to like trying to, like push against the tide against you to move to a certain point, right? It's there's a saying, right? Let's see, like a novice will do too little. A professional may do too much, but a master does just enough. Okay, it goes along something along the lines of that, right? Where a master understands that it must, like for a piece, right? The piece will tell you when it's done. The piece guides you. You do not guide the piece, right? And it's like being able to understand the nature of things, right? It's like the God of War Ragnarok quote, where it's like it's not about the appearance of the thing, it's about the nature of the thing, right? And does its nature speak true in the work, right? So when it comes to the artist's journey, right, and the pursuit of mastery, right, I think at a certain point, skill is very important. Skill is king, right? Skill is what will, it's the thing that everybody cares about, what everybody looks at, right? But I think that at a certain point, skill becomes less important, right? It becomes more about the trueness of the work. And I think trueness is really a pursuit that only a master can have, right? A professional, someone who is like working really hard, who's in a rush, will always try to show off, right? Will always try to be like, look at how big my Arctic is, right? Look how impressive this feat is, right? And that's good. It's great. You know what I mean? You should be pursuing that as a younger artist, right? But at a certain point, it has to be less about the spectacle and about your own inner journey, right? The pursuit of mastery allows for the opening of one's senses, right? To view the eyes, or to view the world with unfiltered eyes, right? It's like looking at the world like when you were a child, right? Being fascinated by everything that you see, right? I believe that art and creative things make you open your senses up, right? To smell something, to look at something a different way, right? Like when you see a tree, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, it's just a tree, right? But an artist, right, a master, will look at the tree differently, right? They'll look at it from the macro level, the big tree, right? But then they'll look at it from the micro level, right? They'll see like, oh, the bark of the tree, the texture of the tree, right? The color of the tree, the way the light flows through, right? And so it's like in the world, we have these things, we have blockers, right? That we develop as we grow up, right? To, not overload our senses, you know what I mean? To like, because we have to survive and we can't be like, everything, right? But as a kid, we looked at the world with such, with such wonder, right? And as we grow up, we lose that. We lose those senses, right? Art is there to revive that. When you see a great piece of work, you open up your senses, you open up your eyes to see more, right? When you listen to a great piece of music, you open up your ears more to hear more notes, right? When you eat great food, your nose like opens up, right? And the master is there to present that to you, right? And the pursuit of mastery is to make those senses perceive something on a scale that can be life altering. Okay, right? And not for everyone. Of course, people are gonna be like, they like some people, they eat fancy food and they're like, well, whatever, doesn't matter to me, right? Oh, I ate it in like 2 seconds, right? And there's other people who try to appreciate those things, right? And like, you could eat something, right? And it was an experience that you've never had before, right? And you kind of gain a sense of appreciation. Like, you're like, oh, thank God I'm alive to eat this thing. You know what I mean? Or thank God I'm alive. Thank God I have eyes to see this picture, right? To enliven the senses, to make you feel glad that you're alive. You know what I mean? To make you feel like the world isn't shit and that there are things worth experiencing, right? The rest of the world is there to hamper that and to bog you down in a way, right? But the pursuit of mastery allows for these things, right? And you may get that level, when you start getting there, you start feeling that, right? You start tugging at that string, right? You start following that path. It changes the way you are. It changes you, right? For me, it's really changed my perspective on the little things, right? And my senses and the way I look at things, right? And I realize that the way I walk through the world is much different than the way the other people walk in the world, right? And it's great because I know artists, we struggle, okay? We struggle a lot. There's a lot of hardship in an artist's life, right? It's just the way of things, right? Artists have within them, they have imbued in them chaos, okay? And not everyone with chaos is an artist, right? But all artists have chaos within them, okay? And this chaos can work itself to basically upset and shake up your life, your emotions, the way you feel, right? And a master, right, can see those things, can sense those things, right? And like in a very Zen way, be able to take it in and feel it and absorb it, right? And take it and output something good, right? Think of people like Iroh from Avatar, right? He was a master, right? And you could see his demeanor, right? Like when he needed to, he could be a beast, right? When he didn't need to, he was calm, he was Zen, right? He appreciated things, he appreciated other cultures, right? He opened up his senses to allow the world in, right? And to allow himself to change and be morphed by the world itself, right? And by nature and his appreciation for life, right? And not everyone can pursue this easily. You know what I mean? It usually takes a life-shaking moment, right? That can change you over the course of years, right? It requires a metamorphosis, right? So, I don't know, a lot of people, they have their wake-up moment, someone gets cancer, you know what I mean? Or, they're for me, it was my hand condition, which threatened my existence and the pursuit of my dream, right? And I had to make a huge shift in my life to accommodate for this disability, right? But through it, I found the artist's journey, and I found the pursuit of mastery, right? And so, I hope you guys, by understanding this, by learning this, that there is a path for people who don't walk the same way other people do, right? That that exist outside of the systems of this world, right? And can not only just get out of that rigmarole of the modern world, but could also find a peace, an inner peace within themselves, right? So that anything that hits them, okay, it's not gonna feel like oh, it's good, you know what I mean, right? but that you have the ability to take those hits, okay, and to keep moving forward, okay, right? Rocky, you know what I mean? And that is the benefit of the pursuit of mastery, right? Is that you won't that you will be able to sit by yourself, enjoy your own company, right? Embrace things as they are, feel the wind, right? Look at nature with a new appreciation, right? Look at everything with a new appreciation, right? And that's really the benefit of mastery, right? Except, you know, obviously the calmness and the knowing of oneself and the direction one wants to go, of course, extremely important, right? But I think it's really the opening of the senses to in almost like a childlike in wonderment level, right? But with the knowledge of an adult and a master, right? You know what I mean? That is the true goal, right? So that you could have a real newfound appreciation for the world that you may have lost, right? So these are the benefits, man. I hope you guys, you know, through this video, maybe if you're going through a rough time, right, understand that maybe that rough time is there to help open you up, you know, to break down those guarding walls, that filtered vision you have, to break that vision, and that you can now see the world with new eyes, okay, right? To hear the world with new ears, to smell the world with new smells, right? And to really embrace the beauty of this world, okay? And you know, of course, there's tragedy, there's all that stuff, right? But it allows you to be in the moment, right? For you to enjoy something as it is, right there, right then, right? Instead of being like lost in your thoughts, you know what I mean, right? I have that problem. I still fight with that demon, right? Just having like, you know, trying to enjoy something, and then there's a thought, like a cynical thought that's like trying to get in the way, right? It's not easy, right? And I am far from a master, right? But I am pursuing mastery, okay? So that one day I could be there. It's a practice. It's every day, okay? And it's the long haul, guys, okay? So, you know, I hope this helped you guys. I hope you guys find your path to mastery, right? Because this world needs more masters, okay? This world needs more people who are at the highest level of their craft and have something profound to say in their work, right? That's the real goal, right? That's the real goal of this channel, to get more people in the root of that. And if I could get one, if my videos produce one master, okay, in this lifetime, then it's worth it, dude. I'll have done my part, right? And I hope that you guys get something out of this video, right? But yeah, I think that's it. I think we can end the video here, guys. Please, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like, hit that subscribe, check out my Prince and Patreon if you want to support the channel, consider becoming a channel member, ring that bell for notification, all that bullshit, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot.